Hey everybody, my name is Asia and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my October TBR. So today I'm filming on the other side of my library. You guys never see this. I have this shelf, a tiny baby shelf down here that I have decorations, and then I have another shelf right there. I don't really like how this shelf looks as much. It's too colorful for me. So I kind of scooted into the corner so you guys can still see the decorations, and then I have this is like thriller and horror behind me. So I read a lot of books in September and I don't know how, because I feel like in October I'm not going to be reading as much, which really makes me sad and disappointed, but I feel like I won't. But there's a lot of spooky books that I want to get to. So first I'm going to go over just books that I need to read for book clubs and things like that. And then I'm going to mention a couple of other books that I want to read, but not all of them because I'm not trying to get nobody's hopes up, even myself. So I'm just going to mention a couple of them, and I am going to fit those into my TBRs for readathon. So I'm going to tell you guys all the books first and then tell you where they go in the readathons. So the first book I'm planning to read this month is Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Morana Garcia. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I've heard really good things about this book, kind of a mix. And I know this does kind of have like a paranormal vibe to it a little bit. I believe this is about a girl who gets a letter from her cousin, and it's like very urgent and seems like she's in danger. So she goes to this mansion where her cousin lives, and this takes place in Mexico. And things are just a little off, and I heard this kind of has a little bit of paranormal in it, but not too much. So this is the book club book for the Busy Bee book club, hosted by Erin from Booked and Busy, and this is also the book club pick for the Crusty Club, hosted by Chanel from Chanel Time. So the next book that I'm supposed to read this month, I might push back to November, and that is A Torch Against the Night by Saba Tahir. This is the second book in the An Ember in the Ashes series by Saba Tahir, and I'm hosting the Ember along, which I have a video up on my channel already, a whole announcement video. So if you want to watch that, I will have it linked either down below or in the cards. And I'm doing this with Nicole from Who Picked This Book, Molly from Mind of Molly, Sydney from Sid Bookworm, and Samantha from Samantha's Book. And so we're supposed to read this for our October pick, but our live show isn't until November 7th, which is going to be at 4 p.m. EST, which is 9 p.m. BST, and that should be, let me do math, 1 p.m. PST. Since the live show isn't going to happen for a whole week until November, I might push this off so I can read more spooky atmospheric books, but we'll see. Time's up, SpongeBob. I loved the first book so much. I have read it twice this year because I read it in June, so then I decided I wanted to host a read along for it, and that's why I reread it in September, and I should try to read this in October, if not the first week of November. The next book that I'm going to be reading is Dissensation by Nalini Singh. This is the New to Swoon book club pick for October, and my guest host is going to be Nicole from Who Picked This Book. We're going to be having the live show for this on October 25th, which is a Sunday at 3 p.m. EST, so hopefully you guys will join us. It is quite short. This is a shifter paranormal romance. That's all I know, so there's werewolves in it, and that's all I know. Nicole has been dying for me to read this, so she's going to be rereading it for this live show, so it's really going to be interesting to see like a rereader versus a new reader. One of the other picks for this month, because the theme was paranormal romance, was Dark Lover by J.R. Ward, which is the first book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. So I'm actually going to be reading this book as well because I want to. I'm actually in the middle of it right now, but I'll save my thoughts for the end of the month. I also just want to make a quick announcement for New to Swoon. As far as I know, Emma is not going to be in it anymore, which is unfortunate. It's just like I've been texting her constantly because I do have her actual phone number, and the messages are being delivered and she's not responding for that. She was also supposed to be an Ember along, but she hasn't been responding for that either, and she missed our first live show for our September book pick, which was Intercepted, which I did with Bree from In Love and Words, so I'll link that up above if you want to watch that live show, even though we didn't talk about the book for that long because most people didn't read it and we didn't want to spoil it for them. But yeah, as far as I know, Emma is not going to be in this anymore, so I don't know if she responds and something else happens. I'll keep you guys updated on my Twitter or on the New to Swoon Twitter, but as far as I know now, Emma is not involved because she hasn't messaged back in probably 3 weeks. The next book that I have to read this month is Hollow Kingdom, and I don't even know how to describe this book. it's been a horror, but then it's also comedy, and it's an apocalyptic book, I know that for sure. This is going to be for the Stacks of Strange book club. We don't have a date yet for the live show for this. It'll probably be within the first week of November. So if you guys want to read this and join in, make sure to follow the Instagram that I'll have linked down below to keep up with all the information about it if you want to join in on the live show. This book I know is going to be weird, which is the whole point of our book club, because this is like in an apocalypse where I think all the people die, but the animals survive, including domesticated pets. So we follow a crow or some sort of bird who is domesticated, and we follow like his inner monologue and how he interacts with other creatures during this apocalypse. And so I've heard that it's really weird but really good, and I'm super excited to read it this month and discuss it with the girls. The next book that I want to read is joining in on another book club, and that is The Shining by Stephen King. There is a book club called the Constantly Reading Book Club. They have a Discord and a Goodreads. They don't do live shows, but they have like all these channels where you can discuss. So this is their October pick, which this is actually going to be in a, hopefully, a secret TBR that I want to do this month. I've tried to do secret TBRs before and they don't normally turn out right, and then I just don't post them. So hopefully I'll be able to actually do this one this month. So if you have any ideas of what kind of secret TBR I'm going to be doing, leave it in the comments below because I want to hear your theories. This, obviously, I love the movie. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this because I know Stephen King doesn't think the Shining adaptation is a good representation of the book, but I really hope it is because I love the movie, and if it's really different than the movie, I don't know how much I'm going to like it, but I'm really excited. Also, the Constantly Reading Book Club only reads exclusively Stephen King. I know in November they're reading 11/22/63, which I'm also going to be joining in on, even though that book is, she's ginormous. I'm also rereading Crescent City. So the last book that I have to read this month is Cemetery Boys by Eden Thomas. I'm going to be the guest host for the Perfectly Queer book club hosted by Lily and Molly, and I'll link their Twitter and their channels both down below. Basically, they just read queer novels, and they normally let their guests pick the book. As far as I know, they let me pick this book, and I'm super excited to discuss it with them and just read this in general. This sounds amazing. It's about this world where there is brujas and brujos which have magic, and we follow a transgender main character who basically summons a ghost and can't get rid of him, and he was like the bad boy of the school, and I believe that it's their romance, and I'm just super excited to have like those magic vibes, and seeing representation in this book is just going to be amazing because I'm not going to say I'm tired, but I want to see representation in books that aren't contemporary. I want to know about characters who have other aspects of their lives and not just their identity. Not that that's a bad thing, I've just read a lot of them and they're just not my favorite thing anymore because I feel like the market is so oversaturated with them. Not that they're not important, I just don't think they're my favorite thing. So to have it in this magical setting is just going to be so amazing. So I'm going to quickly run through the other books that I don't have to read this month but I really want to. So the first one is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Obviously this is dark academia, and I know there's magic in this and everybody loves it and I'm going to love it too. So I'm super excited to get to this, and hopefully I love it just as much as everybody else. Also, a lot of these were in my 5-star prediction videos for the fall, so if you want to see that, I have that link up above as well or down below. The next book that I have is The Year of the Witching, and I am so excited for this. I've heard nothing but good things, and there's a black main character around a witchy time period, and there's magic, and that's all I want to know, and I'm just so excited, and everybody's loved it, and I literally picked this up on release day in August, and I haven't read it. Like, what kind of blasphemy is that? Because it's one of my most anticipated releases of the whole year. And the last book that I'm going to be mentioning is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is a thriller by Alyssa Cole, and this has to do with gentrification, so it is very applicable to what's going on now, and it's very real life. It's kind of scary, so I think this will actually scare me, and I'm super excited to be reading this. A lot of the books that I've also talked about, I know Sid from Sid Bookworm is also reading, who I mentioned earlier. We're doing Ember along together. She's also reading them, so there might be some buddy reads in here. I'm just super excited for this because everybody that I know has given this 5 stars. Like, I don't know anybody who hasn't given this 5 stars, and I'm just really excited, and I love the cover so much, and I think it's just going to be amazing. So that's already a lot of books. I have more that I would like to read, but I don't know if I'm going to get to them because I think that I already have like 12 books plus 2 other books that are going to be on my secret TBR. So hopefully, crossing your fingers that I get to them. But I haven't been reading as much during the week because everything with college and just schoolwork, it's really hard to find time to read. but I'm really hoping to get to all of these books. Now I'm going to tell you guys what readathons I'm participating in and how all these books fit into that. So the first readathon that I'm going to be participating in is Spooktober, which is a month-long readathon, and I'll have all the information linked down below. So both the readathons that I'm participating in have teams. So for this readathon, I'm going to be on the festivities team because Spooktober is kind of like themed like a party, so you're either can be like drinks and food, festivities, things like that. So I'm on festivities. So the first prompt for the festivities team is carve jack-o'-lanterns, which is read a book with a face on the cover, and for that I'm going to go with Cemetery Boys. Obviously there are 3 faces on the cover, but also the Year of the Witching can meet this, as well as Slave Dissensation. So the next prompt is to bob for apples, sink your teeth into a tome. I consider a tome over 500 pages, but the book that I already have on my TBR that fits this is The Shining by Stephen King. This book is over 600 pages. It's about 650, so that's pretty big. It doesn't look it, but it is quite a chunker, so hopefully I will get to this and I can include this for that prompt. The next prompt is Ouija board, read a book that people warned you about, and for that I'm going to go with Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, because people didn't warn me that this was bad, but they warned me about the trigger warnings in this, so that's why I'm going to go with it, because I'm smart, okay? I make things fit, even if it's a loophole backwards way. It will fit, okay?
Rock of a crazy bitch!
So the next prompt is to hang out with the pets, read a book with an animal on the cover, and for that I'm going to go with Hollow Kingdom, because it has a bird/crow. I think it's a crow, but if it's not, it's some sort of bird on the cover, which is an animal. So the last prompt on the festivities team is trick or treat. Pick a book that you think you'll love and pick a book that you think you won't like, and then flip a coin. So I'm gonna go with The Year of the Witching for the one that I love, and then I'm gonna go with The Shining. Even though that's a double up, I'm pretty sure I can do what I want. Okay, if I want to double up, I'm gonna double up. Period. Okay, so I'm gonna do The Shining for the one that I don't think I'll like, because I love the movie so much and I heard the book is quite different than the movie. So I'm gonna go with The Shining for heads, and I'm gonna go with The Year of the Witching for tails. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
Tails.
Tails. So The Year of the Witching. I don't know, I've always loved tails. So I'm going to be reading The Year of the Witching for that prompt, so no doubling up here. We love to see it. So the next readathon I'm going to be participating in is the Hocus Pocus readathon, and I'm going to be on the undead team. So each team kind of has like a pro or a con. The con for mine is I have to participate in a 24-hour readathon. For me, 24-hour readathons have sleeping in them, and I mostly like to read on the weekend anyways, so I will probably be trying to take part in this anyways, because I like to read so much on the weekend. And then the pro is that I can double up for like 2 prompts, so one book I can use for 2 prompts. So the group book is Cemetery Boys, so that's really convenient. I'm also going to be using this for the Blix prompt, which is read a book that has to do with family, because he is trying to show to his family who doesn't really accept his gender that he's a real brujo. So that's why I'm picking this for that. Then for read a book with a morally gray character, I'm going to go with The Shining for that, because I'm pretty sure Jack Torrance is kind of morally gray in my opinion. And the last prompt is to read a book with ghosts or paranormal, and these books both fit that, so I plan on reading both of these. And Dark Lover also fits this. So I'm going to be reading all of them, so either way I got this prompt covered. So I'm also going to be trying to participate in Fright Week, which is hosted by Crystal from Crystal's Visions, Carol from Carol Marie, Randy from Bruce and Vines, and Marcy from Marcy Reads. They all host it, and I love them all. And this is supposed to be like a thriller horror readathon, so it's the last week leading up to October. So I'm also going to be participating in that, but I don't know how much of this I'm going to read before then. So I'm going to make my TBR a little bit later and post a separate TBR video for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed my TBR, and pray for me that I can get through all these books. I mean, in September I did read, what was it, 17 books, but I don't know how I accomplished that. So pray for me that I can read all these books, because I really want to, and I hope you guys also have an amazing reading month. That is all that I have for this video today, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in, yeah. You got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm